YouTube, I hope you're doing well. I'm here today to show you my personal guitar style. I play the guitar in a band called Kallidad from Australia. And over the years, I've developed certain ideas that are not necessarily super original in their own right, but I probably have played certain things a disproportionate amount and I maybe taken it a little bit further than the average guitarist. I want to share that with you. One of those ideas is kind of what I just showed you then, very fast playing on the high E string. That's not it's not an original concept, but I just do it a lot and I've developed some ideas that I'd like to share. So let's use a scale on the high E string. If you have watched the channel a bit before and played some of my lessons, you will know this scale, but we're doing new things with it today. It's the E Phrygian dominant mode. That sounds scary, but let's keep it nice and simple. 0, 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, and it's usually just 10, 12, but just a bit of flavor, I almost always go 10, 13, 12. So 12 is our E note, our root note, our home note, but rather than go straight home, I like to overshoot it by 1 and then just hit it. So we'll do that today. As always, tabs for today's lesson will be on my Patreon page, link in the comments. And on Patreon, I go into what I call a deep dive, where I will pick up where we leave off here today on YouTube. I'll show you as much as I can now in the next 10 minutes or so. Dump a whole bunch of ideas that you can then go and practice. And then on Patreon, I'm going to assume you've practiced some of the ideas or you've got a little bit more experience, and we'll go even further. Okay, so we've got our scale. 0, 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 13, 12. Now, that's not strictly a scale going 13, 12. You get it. Notes real quick. E, F, G sharp, A, B, C, D, F, E. Cool. The first thing we're going to do is do a pull off. So let's say I'm at the first fret, which is the note of the scale. Rather than just play it, I'm going to do a pull off. I can't go into too much detail right now about pull offs, because if I go into detail about everything I'm talking about, this lesson will go forever and we won't get anywhere. So if you don't know how to do a pull off, pause this video, grab someone on YouTube that is teaching you how to do a pull off, and develop that technique. And even though you got sidetracked, you started here on my video and then you kind of jumped over to this pull off video. If you learned something, you learned something. I still did my job as a teacher to give you a little push forward into the next bit of your progress. And you've done your job, even though you might have thought you were learning this lesson, you've zipped off onto another path. That is completely valid. But I hope you come back. So you're back. We're doing our pull-offs. So those notes I showed you before, but just with a pull-off. 1, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10, 13, 12 with a pull-off. Now, I was using my thumb just then because we're still playing slow, but when I'm playing fast, I'm always using a plectrum. If I was to play that fast, already it starts to sound pretty cool. It's essentially just a scale with pull-offs played fast, already starting to sound pretty interesting. Let's now do exactly the same thing, but after each pull-off, we're just going to add one note, which is the open E string. We're going to play the open string again. So we've pulled off to it, then we strum it or pick it. This is not a race. This is something that takes time to develop. This is very much a technical piece of guitar playing. We want to have a good even tone, good even picking, good even fingering across the whole thing. So it will take time. I'm trying to give you as much information as I can at a good pace here on YouTube, but intelligent use of this video would be to pause and practice. So the video might go for 5 or 10 minutes. It doesn't mean you watch it for 5 or 10 minutes. You might work on it for a much more extended period of time. It's just that I'm trying to give you the ideas to work on. And And at any time you might kind of tap out and go, cool, I just learnt something, turn it off, go play the guitar. That's actually ideal, you know. You don't need to just sit here till the end going, oh, cool, or oh, this guy sucks. It's all about getting you to pick up your guitar, whether you play something I showed you or something someone else showed you. Cool, so we've done that. I often use a palm mute. So if I palm mute with my picking, and now I've picked up my plectrum, sounds really cool with a palm mute. This is all downstrokes. It's starting to sound pretty effective. And if I'm playing any faster than that, I usually use alternate picking. That kind of idea. While we're here, if you're with me, thank you for being with me. Let's now jump out of the scale a bit. So I use that really basic scale shape because it's nice and easy to teach and nice and easy to learn. Let's get you improvising now. So that same, the pull off and then the open string, let's randomize or improvise by moving to different notes of the scale without necessarily being in the same order. So I'm just going to jump around the notes. I'll try and remember them so I can tab them for you on Patreon. But it's not about being exact, it's about having some fun with it, but I'll try and give you something I can kind of write out for you. Something like that. I want you exploring. Certain intervals, certain jumps will sound better to different people's ears. I often move only one scale degree at a time. I like that sound. I think of it like steps. I go up the steps a little bit, down a little bit, up maybe a bit further, down, up and down. Of course I do often jump notes as well, of course, but I like, so like might go 5, 7, 8, 7, 5. So each note is the next one along the scale. And if I'm playing like that, my main decision to make is, this is a good way of playing fast because you can be in the zone. If I'm playing where I'm just kind of almost always playing the next note, my only decision is, do I go up or down to the next note? And I can make these shapes. That kind of idea. Again, I'll tab that on Patreon for you where I'm just moving one note at a time. I can't tab it exactly, but I'll tab the idea, the concept. Cool, so thank you for being with me. Now we're getting to the fun stuff where we start to get nice and quick. Exactly the same, but we're gonna do two. So after the pull off, we're gonna strum the open string twice. Bring the palm mute in. If I play the scale like that, it starts to sound pretty cool. Pretty fun. Again, let's do some improvisation. So it's pull off and then two open strings. Again, technique is super important. Making it sound crisp and clear requires slow, focused, repetitive practice. I'm teaching it quickly so the video is hopefully a little bit interesting and not boring, but hopefully you can learn it quickly, but there's no way I don't think you can master it quickly or really grasp it, you know, really internalize it quickly. That will take some time. The good news is it's fun. So that's the kind of idea. Now, again, if you're still with me, thank you. I know from the YouTube analytics that all my videos, including the most popular ones, drop off. Like people watch for a bit and they go, yeah, nah. So if you're here, you're a legend. And if you're here, I suppose you're actually getting something out of this. So I thank you for that. I'll leave you with this. what I do when I really want to play fast on one string, tremolo picking. So it's just down, up, down, up, down, up. I do have videos on tremolo picking, and no doubt there's people on YouTube that are way better than me and much better teachers that have better videos than my videos. But if you're still here, let's assume you know how to tremolo pick. So what I'll do when I want to hit hyper speed, I'll just tremolo pick and I'll just jump around. Still doing pull-offs. That kind of idea. I'm still using the same scale, the E Phrygian dominant that we started the lesson with. Of course, it goes without saying you can use other scales, you can use other strings, all that stuff. Those variations, I can't keep repeating myself. Of course, today's just how I'm showing you. But that's a bit of fun there. And then I just chuck in a couple chords. That was an E and an F. That's a E major, and then moving it at one fret to the F, flamenco F as we call it, the E major up one fret with the open string. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. I do have one more trick in my arsenal, which on Patreon I'm going to show you what I do after I go to hyperspeed. It's got to be something past hyperspeed. And of course, I'll have it out on Patreon. Thank you for watching. I would love to hear your feedback. I'd love to know how you went with this lesson. And like I said, so many people do drop off these videos. No hard feelings. That's just the nature of YouTube. So if you're still here, you're amazing. And thank you very much. And I'll see you next time.